Hi, my name is Katrina McNally. I graduated from Severna Park in 2015, and I'm now an occupational therapist out in Colorado.
My name is Zach Anstedt. I am a 2011 alumni of Severna Park High School. I am currently a practicing attorney here in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Hi guys, my name is Allie Nagel. I'm a 2016 Severna Park graduate. I went to Methodist University and studied accounting in undergrad, and now I am an accountant, specifically an auditor for Ernst & Young, which is one of the big four accounting firms here in Baltimore, Maryland.
It's Teddy Giard. I'm an SPHS alumni. I graduated in 2016 and just recently graduated from Clemson University in 2020. My sophomore year of college, I was a co-founder and head of marketing for Kanga Coolers, if you heard of that company. We were featured on Shark Tank.
Morning, everybody. My name is Teresa Wyant. I am a SPHS alum from 2015, and I am currently living and working in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania as a fire protection engineer for Michael Baker International.
So for accounting, there's basically three different career paths you can go into. You can do auditing, which is what I do, which is verifying financial statements and kind of looking at the company as a whole to make sure they're being truthful. There's a forensic side, which you look into fraud, which is pretty cool. That's what I aspire to be into in a few years. And then the second choice is tax. You can go into corporate tax, individual tax, a lot of tax return stuff there. And then the third choice is to be a management accountant, which is you work specifically for one company and you record all their financials and help them with any financial problems that come up in the day-to-day activities. So to get into accounting, I know it's not the most exciting career coming out of high school, probably not what many people go into college wanting to do. I didn't start in accounting. I actually started in marketing because that sounded like the fun career, you get to talk to a lot of people, but accounting was a requirement for all business majors. It's like one of your foundational classes. And I took it and I really liked it. It had a lot of rules and structure and just followed like a pattern, and you could see the company through like how they've done in the past with their financials, which was really cool to me. So if you guys like patterns and structures and just figuring out how things work in the world, accounting might be a good choice for you. To get into the accounting professions, you have to, well, you don't have to be a CPA, but it's highly encouraged to be a CPA. You get a lot more job opportunities. you get a big raise, and just there's more opportunities for you. And so to be a CPA, you have to have 150 credits for schooling. Now, most people do your undergraduate, which is around 124, I think, and then go to get a master's of accounting. Or if you are proactive, you can take a lot of AP classes in high school, like I did, and then come in with a bunch of credits and do all 150 undergraduate. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not if you took AP classes, or you can take community college classes over the summer. It isn't like specific what your 150 has to be. You just have to reach that threshold. So my last semester, I took a bunch of like healthcare classes as a random minor just because I was interested in it, and it got me to my 150 credits. So the CPA, a lot of companies will pay for you to take the test and will pay for your training courses to take it just because it's such a high regarded license. So my company, they are paying for my package of training and the classes I take, and then I get reimbursed if I pass the test. So if I don't pass, I don't, but if I do pass, I get reimbursed, which is really nice. That might be something to look into when you are looking for a job, is to see, will your company compensate you for getting the license or professional titles required to do part of that job. Main skills that you need for accounting, honestly, any job coming out of college, you just need willing to learn. They will teach you on the job. They know that you're just coming out of college. But the one thing that will really impress them is if you have good Excel skills. You use Excel for basically everything. Like, I've picked up a bunch on the job, just like little keyboard tricks and shortcuts and formulas. I did not take a Excel or keyboarding class in college or high school, and I really wish I did, because I'm just learning all these Excel tricks, but people who came in with them were like so far ahead of me in this. So that's something I definitely recommend, is taking an Excel class or any other type of software class, but mainly Excel. Everybody uses Excel. And that kind of goes into what's changing about the industry. So they're becoming a lot more digitalized in the accounting world. They're not going to replace humans. Thankfully, we will always have a job. That's a very good point about accounting, is no matter how good or how bad the economy is, you always need an accountant. Losing money or making money, you need an accountant. So it's a very stable job, which is a nice perk. But they are going towards the digital world. And so I have been learning a lot of analytics, and there's a lot of AI stuff. I actually entered into this pilot program with my company where they're teaching me how to run and like create the analytics. So I will be making the analytics for like all the companies in Baltimore eventually, once I go through the training, which is super cool. So it's not just accounting, there's also like a digital side, which is really interesting. Is there anything else you guys want me to answer?
You're doing great, by the way. You make accounting sound very, very interesting. I like it.
Oh, good.
And thanks. I teach Excel, so it's kind of fun because I'm glad to hear that. I don't know, Joanne, what else were you thinking? Or
let me see. I mean, I think you went through mostly all of the questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very good without having to look at them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like
There's
that.
anything else specific you need me to say or talk about?
I think you hit on APs. I don't know, careers paid for. I feel like one thing, like your lifestyle having to do with accounting, maybe like what does your normal day-to-day thing look like? And then maybe you can wrap it up and say, well, I hope that you found, accounting. I hope that I enlightened you about how exciting accounting can be, or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you could just say, in terms of lifestyle, this is what my life looks like having to do with accounting. And then you can say, I hope, whatever. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
In terms of lifestyle, accounting has a busy season and a non-busy season. The busy season for auditors is usually January to beginning of March. So it's 2 months of kind of longer hours. Not not too long, like 10 hours a day, as opposed to like the normal 8. And then tax busy season is until April 15th when tax day is. But then during the summer, we have a lot of free time. I'm out by like 2 o'clock. It's really relaxed during the summer. So there's ups and downs. You'll have some hard times, some busy times, but then it's very relaxing when you're not in the busy times. So I hope I've been able to shed some light on how fun accounting can actually be. And if you have any questions, reach out. Thanks, guys.
I graduated from University of Maryland in 2019, where I got my Bachelor's of Science degree in Fire Protection Engineering. So a little bit about how I got into this job. I obviously went to my undergrad for Fire Protection Engineering, and I explored a couple different career opportunities through internships during the summer of colleges, or during the summers of college, and I explored like subcontractor with field installation, and am now working in architecture and engineering with building design. So what I do on a daily basis is I work with architects, mechanical engineers, interior designers, electrical engineers, all of the different disciplines that you need in order to build a building. I work with on a daily basis in order to build buildings. We do a lot of military construction, which is very cool. I do a lot of aircraft hangar design, and a lot of specialty hazard systems that are a little bit more unique than, say, an office building, for example. As I mentioned earlier, my degree is just a Bachelor's of Science. I am fortunate enough that the career path that I am in only requires a Bachelor's of Science, but you can certainly get a Master's of Engineering in Fire Protection Engineering or a Master's of Science, especially if you want to go into research and development. I have friends that have gotten their Master's of Science degrees that are working in fields like wildland fire research, or how to protect firefighters better when they're entering a house fire. So a lot of different cool career paths that you can take with fire protection engineering that people don't always expect. I am kind of in a standard traditional career path for fire protection engineering, where I'm looking at a building, making sure it can be built, making sure that people can get out of there fast enough, that there's not too many people in the building, and that you have enough exits, and also designing the fire alarm and fire sprinkler systems that go in the buildings. I do both office work and field work, so I am in the office or in my bedroom right now every day working on building design, and every now and then I get to go out in the field. Like yesterday, I actually went to downtown Pittsburgh and float a fire hydrant with some of my coworkers, and I've also gone on trips to do fire alarm testing in order to service this system before we actually put it in place for people to use. I've also had the opportunity to travel internationally with my job. Last spring, right before COVID hit, I was in Bahrain for 2 weeks in the Middle East, working with our client and getting to go on a field survey and the site and talking to the client to make sure that we are providing all of the facilities that they need, and all of the facilities are meeting the requirements of the codes and standards, while also giving them what they need in order to service their aircraft, because it's another military installation. In terms of skills and practices that are important in engineering in general, not just fire protection, you're working with other people on a daily basis. It's like constantly being in a group project. So it's really important to have good communication, documenting everything that you're doing, and documenting conversations with people. So that way, when you need to look back at a design or a project, you know all of the information, and you can go back and refer to a conversation that you had, or look back at a certain reference that you made. We also, never mind, sorry. I love my job because I think it is so much fun to work with other people, and we kind of have a unique opportunity at my company where we have cradle to grave design, which means that we're involved in the project from the conceptual floor plans and talking to the client about what their needs are for the building. We're designing the facility, and then we're handing it off to subcontractors or general construction companies like Whiting Turner or Walsh Construction to build the facility, and we're involved in the design until it is fully built and occupied. So it's really neat that we get to see, you know, the model and the building model on Revit before it goes out to all of the subcontractors, and then we get pictures during construction, and we get to see that certain wall that was a headache for everybody when they were running pipes or ductwork or everything. And it's cool to see everything whenever it's in construction. In terms of changes that are currently occurring in our industry in terms of architecture and engineering, obviously the biggest difference is a lot of us are working from home still because we are able to do our jobs remotely. But I'm definitely excited to get back into the office because it's a lot easier to collaborate when you're face to face with people. But we're seeing a lot of big changes with a big focus in infrastructure with the new administration. So it's neat to see a lot of focus being put on my industry and things that I work on every day that everybody in the world gets to see now. So it's pretty cool. I don't know what else you want me to say.
No, you're doing great.
No,
That's awesome.
doing wonderful. Doing all
One
wonderful.
thing I'm going to ask you to do, because I didn't pin it right away, it was just to introduce yourself again. Yes. And just say your name and this is what I do for my job. And I'm an alumni of Severna Park and I'm a graduate of Maryland. Something like that. Just real quick, because I pinned it, or I was pinning it and then it just didn't quite switch over and I'm not sure what it's actually going to show.
No problem.
Until you're gone.
Yeah, I can definitely do that again.
Awesome. So, and I thought everything you said was great. That sounded awesome. And look at you in Bahrain and like neat. Wow.
Right.
It was really cool.
And then after you do that, if you pause a little bit, if you want to say, you know, and if thank you for taking the time to learn about fire protection engineer, just a quick little blip to we'll put it in for the end.
Yes. Great. That's awesome. Okay, so intro, you can go whenever you want. And then we'll do an outro.
Sounds good.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Teresa Wyant. I am a fire protection engineer for Michael Baker International in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am also a Severna Park High School alum. I am class of 2015, and I am a graduate of the University of Maryland, class of 2019, where I got my Bachelor's of Science degree. So thank you so much for taking the time to learn about fire protection engineering today. I hope you learned a lot about architecture and engineering, and one of the smaller fields that doesn't always get thought of whenever you think of a building being built. But thank you again.
Nailed it.
Great.
Great job.